Welcome, everybody, to Coach Live. I'm Ryan Parker, and thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use third-party stories in your everyday sales process. This is my first live stream, so I'm excited to be here with you. If you happen to be joining now or a little bit later, feel free to say hello in the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. So check out my channel, Coach Live, on YouTube, or you can check out the Facebook page, Coach Live, as well. We're going to start off here. I'm using a lot of brand new technology and a lot of fun stuff, so it might be a little squirrely to get started, but hey, why not give it a shot, right? So first things first, let's talk about third-party stories. And really, what is a third-party story? It actually is a way for you to move the conversation along, whether you're talking to a brand new prospect or you are talking to someone who is further along in your sales process. And what that means is these third-party stories are a great way to connect with prospects right up front. It gives them the opportunity to really engage with them and really really let them understand how they can get that same success that a previous customer of yours had. So they work really great, especially for somebody who gives you a brush off. It's a form of an objection early on in the conversation. You know, especially if you're cold calling someone, you can simply say, "I totally understand. I caught you off guard. You know, calling you out of the blue like this. In fact, it reminds me of a conversation I had with another CFO, Eric, last week." And what that does is it keeps you moving, so you don't get stuck with that objection and you start to freak out. And then next thing you know, he can actually see that Eric, a previous customer of yours or a previous prospect that you spoke with, has seen some success as well. Or it gives him that social proof to move himself forward in that conversation. And more than likely, you'll be able to continue to speak with that prospect to gain a better understanding of exactly what problems they may have moving into further along in the conversation, so you can help solve those problems as well. So it helps you engage your prospect. It showcases previous wins and helps you move forward in the sales cycle. So let's talk about showcasing those previous wins from customers. Through third-party stories, you can share how other customers were heroes by making a positive impact on their business. They're the ones that took actions to solve a very similar problem to what your current prospect is looking to solve. So it allows them to make that connection, really feel as though like you can help them solve this problem with the solution that you're going to present to them. And it also gives them something to latch onto. Okay, well, Eric, he had this same problem before and he took action and he solved it. So remember, the hero is in your third-party story is always that person who took the action. It's never your solution, your software product, your service. It's always the person who took the action in your story to make a positive impact on their business. I can't say that enough. You never want to show yourself as the hero. You always want to make Eric, your earlier prospect, or the person that you're talking to on the phone, become the hero of their own story. That's right, hero. Next up, we're going to talk about a little bit how to move that forward. So if you get further along in the sales process and you're trying to maybe get them to take a look at the contract or sign the contract or your proposal and agree on a proposal, you can simply say, and they're like, I just don't know. I've got a lot of concerns and a lot of issues with moving forward. I don't know if this is going to be the right fit. Well, number one, we got to make sure that you've discussed the value earlier on in that sales process. But secondly, you have to make sure also that the benefits are clearly explained as to how it's going to solve their problem. But one of the ways that you can use a third-party story is to say, remember when I told you about Eric? he was having the same concerns about moving forward as you are right now. And remember, his results were X, Y, and Z. So he knew that he was going to have an issue and he needed to solve this problem. So he took action and he found the best way possible to move his business forward and make a positive impact. So that's a very simple way to use third-party stories within your daily sales process. And we'll talk a little bit more in another conversation on exactly what third-party stories are in terms of how to build them, how to relate to them, and move forward with those. Remember, oh, look, hi. That's part of the tech fun that we're having here. Remember, it makes immediate connection and it translates your previous prospect's success directly to the new prospect that you're talking to. So when you're creating these third-party stories, you want to make sure that you are relevant. Some elements, when I'm speaking live, I get excited. Some elements to consider are size matters. You want to make sure that the story you're telling is similar to the size of the business that you're speaking into currently. So for instance, if you have a client who has 1,000 employees, you do not want to be saying that you solve their problem when you're speaking into a new business where they have 10,000 employees and you're trying to sell into a solution into their business. You also want to make sure that they have similar problems as well. So if you're not speaking with somebody who's got the same problem that has been solved by a previous prospect, you want to make sure that you find one of those stories. And that could be simply going into marketing and talking to them about creating some case studies that allow you to move things forward and give you a plethora of things to choose from. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're emphasizing the impact that the hero of the story received from taking action. You don't want to gloss over it. So you want to make sure that your story is impactful and has some good details. The other part is you want to be clear and you can list them by name. I wouldn't give them their full title and their full name, but you can say, Eric, the CFO of this company who has 1,000 employees just like you, realized that if he didn't make a change over the next 6 months, he was going to have to cut 15% of his staff. And what he did was when he took a look and implemented X, Y, and Z solution, he simply cut his labor costs and he was allowed to maintain his current staff. In fact, now they're growing. So emphasizing that impact. Don't allow that impact curve to be so small. You don't want to shortcut that. Now remember, if you're here and you want to make a comment, feel free to make a comment in the chat section. It's totally great. I'm happy to try that. And again, we're trying out some new technology. So I have a big orange bubble here with absolutely nothing in it. But anyway, I'm so glad that we had a chance to talk a little about this. And one last thing, you and your solution, again, I can't say this enough, they are not the heroes of the story. It's important to convey the understanding the person who chose to make the change and implement the solution is the hero. It's never your product. You can tell them about features of your product all day long. But if you don't let them understand the impact that they can have on their business by making that change, it's just gonna fall flat with your audience. Let me step over here. Anyway, so I'm so excited that you guys joined me. This is a short one. This was my very first live stream, and I'm really excited to try out these new toys and everything, and join in and have you part of our conversation. We're going to end with a little bit of music. It is Put in the Work by LG. Gotta love that. But anyway, I'll be doing these again. We're going to try it every single Monday. So I hope to have you join me as much as possible. Use the hashtag CoachedLive on your favorite social media, and I'll search that out. If you want your questions answered or featured on the show, I'm here to do that. So go ahead and like and subscribe, hit the notification button if you want, all that fun stuff. I will see you guys next time.